What's up, everyone? It's Legz. I'm going to be giving you a rundown of my newest project, Reminiscent. Song by song, kind of giving you the storyline that myself, M Status, and everybody who had a role to play in this project created. So I hope you enjoy. Just to give you a little bit of a backstory as to the concept and the title of the entire album. So originally we went with Hiraith. I went with that for about a good solid year, or Hiraith. Now, the original definition that I had read through was basically homesick, or longing for something that you can no longer return to, a life that never existed. It's almost like a memory, right? Or something of the sort. But I did a little bit more research on the title and the definition of that meaning, and I had noticed that there were a lot of people in the Welsh culture that were not appreciative of the Americanized translation. That I was told that it means a longing for Wales, for that to go home again. And out of respect for that culture, I decided to not go with it. I don't want to feel like I'm appropriating a culture. I appreciate the definition and what it helped me create. So we went ahead and we went with Reminiscent. All these memories feature my boy Ray Roach. Shouts out to my boy Ray Roach. He's a real one. All These Memories is actually the third song that we had put on this project before we decided this was going to be the first song of the project. Now, All These Memories is basically giving you this whole definition of we're trying to create, but we're reliving memories. No matter what, it's like we think we're going in a full circle, like we've done this before, but ideally what's happening is you're not going in full circle, you're doing this. The circle keeps getting bigger and more entwined, and it like never ends, but you always seem to come back to something very similar. So we sat Ray Roach in the studio, and it was his first time recording with me, and I told him, like, hey dude, I have this idea, the beat's super poppy, upbeat, kind of hip-hop punk. I think you can vibe with it. And I mean, we just went straight at it, came out with the project the next day. It's a funny thing, actually, the whole session, none of it saved. Everything crashed, and we lost all the work we had done a full day. So we came back, but we came back even more hungry. We attacked this in the way it was supposed to. So yeah, All These Memories is the start, and it's letting you know this is what this project is. It's a memory. This is all one big memory, and I want you guys to keep that in mind. A big shout out to my boy Ray Roach. First Touch is actually the second single that I released off this project. First Touch is about that, it's in the title, we're finally gonna be able to, this is the first time. And this was supposed to feature a named artist on it, but a lot of things fell through, so we couldn't. So myself and my producer, my best friend, M Status, who produced this joint, we kind of just left it alone while we worked on the remainder of the project. And for months and months on end, it was eating at me. It's one of my favorite songs off this project, super upbeat, super vibey. And I was like, we cannot let this go to waste. We got to write a second verse. I said everything I needed to in that first verse because I was assuming it was going to have a second verse by someone else. So when you say everything here, saying more is even harder. So we wrote the verse, recorded it, laid it down. It was awesome. I loved it. I love the vocals. I love what we said, but it took me about a day or two for me to really listen to it, and a friend of mine to give me some pointers that I feel like we went off course as to the story we were telling in that song. Because remember, all of these are stories. So I was like, we got to rewrite it. And he was a little busy, so I went to TikTok. I turned to my people on TikTok. And big shouts out to Stacia, Panda, and all you guys for participating in this. They helped me write the remainder of this verse. They helped me set the melody and just to keep it all in that storyline. If you actually pull up the lyrics on anywhere really that has the lyrics on there, you'll see everybody's name that participated in writing this song. But an amazing, amazing record. Vibey, you guys are gonna love it. It's available now, so if you want to go check that out, feel free to do so. Man, Señorita. Fun story about Señorita. I wrote the chorus to Señorita about 8 years ago. It was set to a beat, and I just never did anything with it. Just didn't really know where to go, the direction I was going in. And one day I was talking to some of my friends, and I told them I really want to work on something, but I don't know what to work on. And my friend Naz chimes in saying, you need to finish Señorita, because she heard it. I have what I call the graveyard, songs that I never finished. And so we pulled it up, we were vibing out with it, we wrote the verse to it, and I just felt the original beat itself was too busy. There was too much going on. And so I called up my boy Michael Cabrera, with big shout outs to Michael, and M Status, and I told them, we need to make a beat for this. This was actually the first time that I was in the studio assisting in production. I don't do production. I do engineering. I'm the vocal guy. So with being able to get hands-on, it was a whole new experience. So we finished the beat to Senorita, amazing guitar work. M Status coming in with post-production from the guitar, and just wrote the story to Senorita. Senorita's story is more along the lines of coming off of first touch, I'm addicted. And I'm addicted to you, and you addicted me, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's that I'm doing it to myself because I want, as long as that pain is coming from you, I don't care. So it's just like you're destroying yourself, but all in the name of false love, really, for that matter. So Senorita tells that whole story as to how toxic love can be and not letting go. How toxic not letting go can be. And it just follows in. This is basically where the story starts getting thicker. But Senorita is hands down my favorite song off of this entire project. But you guys are going to have to wait for that. Alright, so Him or Me follows right after Senorita in the story. Basically, like, now he's really trying to get into it with her to where it would be mutual. You know, like, we do want to make this work, but she has someone, you know, and she wants to try it with him, but he's the sneaky link. So in the story itself, it's basically like, it's either him or me. You know I can do it better. And big shouts out to my boy M Status on the chorus. And a big shouts out to my boy Big Mike for featuring on this project here, man. Big Mike and I did Low Key, which is hands down one of my favorite songs off of my previous project, Progression, which you can find. But Him or Me is basically describing, like, I'm tired of this low key stuff, but you know I can do it better. You know choosing me is going to be the better route for you. And it's just, you're tired of being the side dude. So, Him or Me, yes. Right there, featuring my brother M Status. Man, this is a banger. So in the story, right there follows right after Him or Me. She feels he's right. You know, I want to be with you. I do have these feelings for you. I can't deny them. But she's still with him. I'm still the backup guy. So even if he isn't doing you right, say the word, I'm right there. Regardless, I'm there. It's like I'm slipping back into that pattern from Senorita, that no matter what, here I was. You were my first. We were the first touch with each other. We're going into Senorita. You know, now we're as far as right there. So we're following that timeline, but now it's a little more. It's a little healthier, if I would. But imagine video-wise, and this is how I portray a lot of these songs, is I think of them like music videos. I think of, like, we're talking about it like, yes, you want to make this work. He ain't the one for you, and you know that. She calls me over because she's going to end it with him, and it's going to be me. I'm going to walk out on top, but this ain't Hollywood. That's not how these things work. I show up, I imagine holding flowers, very cheesy, I know, and I'm walking up to her door, and I see somebody in her doorway. She was expecting me to arrive, and there was a knock at the door, and she sees him. He says something that makes everything work. She throws her arms around him, but she's still very uncertain. But on my perspective, that's all I see. Flowers hit the flow, we go to the car, and that's it. So I didn't walk out on top. Choose up. All right, so we're following right after right there. I saw it happen. I get in the car, make a phone call. This whole song is basically a voicemail. It's like a 2-minute voicemail, but bear with me here. I know not very many of us would listen to a 2-minute voicemail. But ideally what happens is, in that song, we're basically saying, you need to choose up. Why are you choosing down? Choosing me would be choosing up. You know, I'm the route you would want to take. Well, in the end, what ends up happening is me not being chosen, I'm basically going to tattle on her. You need to tell him, or I will. Why are you with somebody that doesn't even know the basic of things? Why, that doesn't know your favorite color? That can't seem to get your coffee order that you always get? He can't get it right. Why are you choosing somebody you know that doesn't love you the way I can? Eventually, we fall off the tattletale side of things, but the song ends itself with her calling me back and me missing her call, saying, like, you know, it's a lot deeper just to call her back. At that point, heart's broken. It ain't gonna happen. Big shouts out to my brother M Status for producing that record, man. Fire. After Choose Up follows in Don't Forget About Us. Don't Forget About Us, to me, is the saddest song on the project because it's that post-ending of things realization. Like, this is where the healing process starts. I understand it's never going to be me. I'm not the one to be chosen here. So it's like, no matter what we went through in our life together, you know, in that short time or long period of time, don't forget about it. Don't forget everything we learned about each other, because those are things that you can carry on. And if you're going to choose to be with him, teach him those things. Teach him how I would hold your hand. Teach him how I would treat you. Basically embedding, you wanted me so bad, but you wanted to see me in him, I guess is a way I would say it. But yes, Don't Forget About Us is everything's over. Just don't forget what we had. Living on a Memory is by far the funnest song I've made on this whole project. It features my brother-in-law. My brother, it's Andy. So this song itself follows right after Don't Forget About Us. I imagine Don't Forget About Us, I walk into a bar and it's nothing. You know, I'm heartbroken, devastated, and brother-in-law's there, and he walks up and he goes, come sit with us, you know, like, and there's a friend right there. Again, we're going in a full circle, but you know, it's not completing itself. So I sit down and kind of vibe with this girl. And in the song itself, it's basically two storylines, Andy's and mine. He's talking about basically how he met his, and I'm talking about the night as it's happening. His is a memory. Remember, y'all, this is one big memory, and mine is about that night. So I basically connect with this woman, and everything is amazing, absolutely beautiful, 100% my type. It's not reality for me, but you know, love nonetheless. But in that song, I'm basically talking about that she's not from here. She's just visiting, and she's flying back the next day. And at the end of my verse, I actually say, hold my sweater, or, you know, here's my sweater, keep it for me till the next time we're together. Some slick stuff, you know. But yes, Living on a Memory follows into Miles Apart. So we connected. Exchange phone numbers, FaceTime all the time and whatnot. And that's what it's going to be for us. It's long distance now. Now, of course, Miles Apart, for those who do know, was not written in a time where this kind of thing was actually happening. I was in a long distance relationship and it didn't work. As an adult and with adult money, I made adult decisions to go take my adult self way out there. Nonetheless, didn't work. But we're using this step in the project itself to turn it into that. Everything's working with me and her from Living on a Memory to now Miles Apart. We're trying to make it work, but it's hard because phone calls, they're not the same as being in person. FaceTime is not the same as seeing your face, holding your hands or anything like that. So again, music video wise is what I imagine. At the end of Miles Apart, I find myself at an airport. I'm going to her. I'm gonna go make this work. I'm going to figure this out. And so, yes, shouts out to Robin Wesley for producing this track, man. By far, the most loved song of this project is Since I Met You. Since I Met You was not supposed to happen. Again, we are just writing songs for this project, this random project that Legz is releasing, and then we realize we're creating a story here. Since I Met You is what it's what M Status and a few other people have called my Disney song. Disney, let me know. It is a love song. It's what I call the wedding song. Big shouts out to Joanna and Cyrus for letting me sing this song at their wedding for their first dance. It was an amazing experience, and if I could relive it just to watch it, it was amazing. But Since I Met You is coming straight out of Miles Apart. We made this work. We figured this out one way or the other, and we are getting into that next step in our lives. And it's Since I Met You, all of my darkness came to light. You gotta remember, this is one whole memory, one big story, and we're already at the tail end of it. Everything that's created this part of the story happened all back here. So I learned from all these things. I had to experience all these things to get the one good thing that I've wanted for so long. And it's Since I Met You and my darkness came to light, all of that stuff. And it's a big love song and one of my favorite songs off this whole project. Last but not least, On Top of the World. Again, big shout out to my brother M Status for producing this one. He actually challenged me on this. I like songs that have a melody kind of already in it. This one did not have it at all. He said, you're gonna have to figure it out. And we did. On Top of the World is the very, very end of this super long thick storyline. And what we did with it was, I remember some days just feeling defeated, wake up in the morning searching for meaning. It's through this whole timeline I'm experiencing everything that I'm talking about in this song. But I went through everything I had to go through to be on top of the world. It's a very motivational, uplifting song, and by far one of the most powerful songs on this project. So yes, On Top of the World is the signature to this entire project. And that was the storyline for my upcoming project, Reminiscent. There is no release date yet. I do apologize. I will update this video once we do have a release date. But if you have any questions on any of the artists that did participate in this project, songwriting process, or anything of the sort, you can go ahead and check the description below. You'll be able to find their music. You'll be able to find any social links that are associated with them. If you have any questions about the project, feel free to shoot it in the comment section. Please let me know what you're most excited for about this project, which song. Both Right There and First Touch are available. Links below for both Spotify, Apple Music, and everywhere. Make sure to click on my link tree to find all of the rest of my music and just keep up with me. All of my socials are in there. But I love y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it was. Peace, love, and elbow grease. I'll catch y'all.